So Disney keeps winning box office weekends, so you would think that they're having a really great year. But if you look at each movie individually, you see a bunch of movies that really failed to live up to what they were supposed to be. So yes, they may have won their individual weekends, but in the end, they didn't make as much money as Disney was hoping. So in this video, we're going to go through each movie that Disney has released so far in 2025 and why it did or did not do as well as they were hoping. But first, please like, subscribe, and share. Anything you can do will help my channel reach more people. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that bell icon so you can get my videos as soon as they drop. So let's start out early on. Captain America: Brave New World. Yes, the fourth outing for Captain America just did not live up to the previous three. And whether it was because we had a new Captain America or the fact that people are just absolutely tired of Marvel movies, the movie just didn't do well. While yes, it did make over $200 million by the end, the previous iterations of Captain America made closer to $1 billion. So yes, Disney started out the year not doing too hot. And you know what? Things only got worse from there. Let's continue on with the Marvel theme and look at Thunderbolts. While Thunderbolts was at least received better than Captain America: Brave New World, it didn't do all that much better in the box office. Yes, that's right, Thunderbolts, despite having a bunch of B-list villains coming together to fight, well, really just fighting depression, because let's be honest, they didn't actually fight a villain in that movie. Nobody went to the theaters to see it. I would imagine more people have seen Thunderbolts this last week when it came out on Disney Plus than actually went to go see it in the theaters. And it really shouldn't be all that surprising. Half of the villains turned heroes in that movie were only launched on Disney Plus, so a lot of movie theater goers had no idea who was on the team. And once again, people are still tired of seeing Marvel movies that are the same story rehashed over and over again. But even worse, this one didn't even have a villain. So it doesn't matter if it's your fourth Captain America or a bunch of Suicide Squad ripoffs from the Disney Plus universe, nobody was wanting to see Marvel movies earlier this year. And then, of course, the third Marvel movie to come out for Disney was Fantastic Four. And while that made more money than the other two, it really failed to live up to what Marvel was hoping for. Yeah, $500 million sounds great, especially when the movie was only filmed for around $200, but in the end, they were kind of hoping that this movie was going to make closer to $1 billion. You gotta remember that Fantastic Four is supposed to be one of the main focuses after Secret Wars and Doomsday. Yes, of course these four are going to survive, and more than likely Baby Franklin will survive as well. Yes, they want this team to be right up there with the X-Men as the major focuses in the post-Secret Wars landscape. But you know what? People weren't all that interested. Whether it was because they were tired of the third relaunch of Fantastic Four, just tired of Marvel in general, or really had no desire to see what was going on with these people in this 1960-esque Marvel universe, people just really didn't show up. And I know, $500 million is a lot of money, but that's less than half of what Deadpool and Wolverine made a year earlier. So with 4 actors, they made half the money. Once again, things aren't looking all that good for the Marvel universe. But what about for the other types of movies that Disney released? Let's talk about Pixar's Elio. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're right there with the rest of America, because Disney decided to not show almost any commercials or push any advertisement for Elio. Yes, Elio was a box office failure because nobody really knew that it was coming out. So it made pennies on the dollar for how much they spent to film it, and it ended up failing. And of course they're going to release the news that it did really well on Disney Plus because a lot of people saw it come up on Disney Plus and literally just found out that this Pixar movie existed. So I blame this failure right on Disney. Now let's talk about all the remakes. First up, Freakier Friday. Yes, if you don't remember Freaky Friday, it came out like 20 years ago, and this is basically the same movie, just 20 years later. Now that all the actresses have gotten off of their crazy binges of about 15 years ago, they can focus on remaking the exact same movie. And to be honest, I don't think it's actually that much of a failure. Let's be clear, nobody expected Freakier Friday to make multiple hundreds of millions of dollars, so the fact that it's made close to 100 for basically just filming a bunch of people talking to each other for an hour and a half actually makes it a success. That's right, if you film your movie for really cheap, you can make a lot of profit easily. That's why horror movies do so well, because they pick a bunch of C-list actors and have them run around in the dark. It doesn't cost too much to film, so they don't have a huge bar to pass when they actually release it. Disney's biggest failure of the year, of course, is Snow White. They decided to remake their first movie ever with a lady that doesn't even like Snow White. And of course, that's just one of many, many, many reasons why people didn't go to see Snow White. I myself finally saw it when it released on Disney Plus, and honestly, it was alright. It was an alright fairy tale movie. It was a pretty lousy rendition of Snow White. You didn't have to remake it, but you did, and now you have to live with your failure, Disney. And that itself almost caused Disney to stop making live-action remakes. Of course, they did have one huge success, and that was Lilo and Stitch. Yes, Lilo and Stitch, the live-action movie, made more money than the original cartoon Lilo and Stitch in its opening weekend. And that's really good news for Disney and really bad news for people who don't like live-action remakes. While Disney may be rethinking making some of their live-action remakes, they definitely are going to continue making them because they know that they can make a bunch of money. So the question is Disney going to learn from any of their mistakes? Is Disney going to learn that people are tired of lackluster Marvel films? Is Disney going to learn that they should actually put some advertisement behind their Pixar films, that they don't just advertise themselves like some sort of AI entity? Is Disney going to learn that maybe just making a movie, a live-action remake, doesn't automatically make it a success? That it needs to be appealing to the audiences? Or are they not going to learn anything and just assume that they just need to keep shooting off live-action remakes and eventually they'll get another Lilo and Stitch? In the end, I don't think Disney's going to learn anything. They're going to look and see that they have made more money than any other studio. They're going to look and see that they've won more weekends than any other studio. But they're not going to learn the fact of how much more money they could have made if they had made these minor changes throughout the first 8 months of 2025. And if they don't make any of these changes, if they just keep going, well, I'm sure they're going to win this year. I'm sure they're going to do amazing with Avatar 3. But the real question is what will come in 2026? What will come in 2027 when people continue to be tired of a lot of these tactics that Disney has been doing? Well, then we're going to see the House of Mouse truly hit some bumpy roads. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Make sure to click that subscribe button and check out those videos on screen now.